Wow.
All right. Any questions? Okay, these are the symbols for what you need to do. So if you want to define something, you've already globaled it, and this is what you want to do, you know, that's your stroke for comma, then it's control comma. Okay? And then automatically it should put it in there with the brackets and everything. Okay? Any questions? Are y'all even listening?
Nope, I'm too distracted.
You probably did.
Insert the symbol for a comma, press control comma. Likewise, control period.
See how it puts it in there? You don't even have to jack with it. You don't have to mess with it at all. It automatically does it in there. But if you forget how to do it, and it's like, well, was it Alt? Was it Control Shift? Was it whatever? No. Highlight it, Control E, brings it down, shows you how to do it. Okay?
Okay, I'm done thinking.
For a quick question mark, press control slash. There's also control semicolon and control colon, which would involve the shift key. Control tilde inserts the symbol for a lock space. However, if you have an entire phrase whose...
You understand what a lock space is? Y'all know what a lock space is?
No.
So if you're writing Mr., Mrs., Doctor, Sergeant, Mr., Mrs., yeah, Junior. Junior might, yeah, because it's always going to go with the word. This is how you do it. You put a lock space in there, okay? So it always knows to put it with the word. Put the word with something. So if it's always Mrs. and it's not M-I-S-S-E-S, does that make sense? Because you have that sometimes. Well, Miss, what was your name? It's not going to go with something because it's going to, if you put it like that, it's going to say, well, Miss What's, and it's going to think that What's is the name of the Miss. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
If you put the lock space in there. So you don't, there's certain ways that you should do it. Mrs., I always do MR. MRS. Yeah, MRS is Mrs. MR is Mr. DR period is doctor, because I know that the DR period is going to go, is my symbol for a certain doctor's name. I know that it's going to be the symbol that goes with the name. Now if they say, well, doctor, what procedure did you use? It's going to be well, comma, capital doctor, D-O-C-T-O-R, whatever, because they're talking to a specific doctor. Is this making sense? Does it make sense?
Words you want to keep together, you can use the lock button. Press the lock button again.
Do you understand what it's telling you there? So if you want the words to stay together, push the lock button and it'll put these in between the words that you have in there. Okay? It'll automatically do it. And if you press it again,
and you'll get hyphens.
You'll get hyphens. So it'll hyphenate the word. Totally different thing, guys. Totally different thing that you're trying to do here. So do y'all understand what it's doing there? You understand? If you don't, say, please.
Yeah. Lock button.
Yeah, the lock button. So when you get...
You can use the lock button. Press the...
When you get those, it puts all the words, it keeps all the words together. So say it's at the end of the sentence, and you want to keep all of these words together, it's going to keep them together. So it's going to put it on the next line. That's what that's telling it to do. When you put it on...
Lock button again, and you...
And it hyphenates it, it's still going to keep it together. Probably going to put it on the next line, but it's going to put these things in there. With the other one, it doesn't keep them in there. It keeps it 4 separate words, but it keeps it together. Does that make sense? Guys?
So when you hit the...
You awake, Slick?
So when you hit the lock button again, I'm sorry, what?
When you hit the lock button the first time, it puts the, yeah, it keeps the words together.
Right.
So God, what's it?
Hyphenated tilde.
Is that what it's called?
To the brackets.
If you want to keep together, you can use the lock button. Press the lock button again, and you'll get hyphens. Press it a third time to get back to regular spaces.
So you keep pushing it to what you want. And if that's not what you want, it's like, you know what? It's not hyphenated. They don't need to stay together. They're just 4 words, and you just keep pushing lock, and it'll take it off.
And a third time will...
It's a bunch of
The third time will take it off.
shortcuts, but it can really save you time.
Okay, any questions about that section? No? Okay. And if you go through this tutorial, it'll kind of show you some of the things that, how to define it, okay? And that's some of them right here. So your question paragraph, answered paragraph, I don't even know where you would use a quoted, question paragraph. I guess if the whole question is supposed to be quoted, if the whole question is supposed to be quoted, I have no idea. I have no idea what they're doing there, but that's how you do it if you want to do it. Speaker paragraph, parenthetical, new paragraph, decimal point, delete a stroke. So that's how you do it. So right here, it has a little exercise at the end of it. I know I've told you guys this or whatever. So really what you should do is be using this stuff every week. Have you guys been using it?
Sorry.
Honestly? Everyone? No? Guys, really important. It really is. And like I said, I'm not making fun. But the whole reason to take this class is to get better at this. Okay? The only way you're going to get better is by using it. That's the only way. Because you're going to remember it for now. Come next week, I bet you I can go to 2 lessons ago and ask you guys about something and you're probably not going to know. You know? And it's important stuff. I mean, it's good stuff that's only going to help you. So that's why we had talked about cutting the classes down a little bit shorter, because I don't want to give you guys, overload you with too much information, because the small amount or the amount of information that I give you every week, I want you to use it during that week. Okay? That's the whole point of doing this. If not, we'll run through this whole doggone thing. I could have got it done in probably 3 weeks and just run through it. But that's not the point of this. The point is to get it to where you guys understand it, because it's really good. I mean, this software is phenomenal, and it's only going to help you, and it's only going to help cut down your time during editing. Okay? Make sense? Okay. So I want you guys to start using this stuff every week. Even if you have to go back to the other lessons, go into the lesson, start listening to the program. You put your cursor on the here, Alt-V shows the video, and it shows you exactly what to do. So if you have any questions about it or whatever, go through all of those things, and or if you don't understand something, if like we went over some stuff this week and you don't understand something the way that I explained it, and you come back and you're like, well, I listened to the lesson again, I didn't understand it, I tried messing with it, I didn't understand it, what do we need to do? This way I can explain it again in class, okay? Because if not, I mean, it goes by the wayside and then you forget. And it could have been something extremely important. This is very important. The way that you define these things is very, very important, okay? So even if you need to go through on the wiki and watch this video again, do it again, you know? But don't be embarrassed, guys, about asking questions, okay? I've already told you guys the dumbest question is the one not asked. You know, so if it's like, oh God, you know, I don't want to ask a dumb question, I don't care. No one's gonna make fun of you here. No one. If they do, you tell me. I'll fix it. I promise. So, don't be scared about asking questions, okay? One, it makes me feel like you guys are listening too, so. All right, so right here, it's kind of telling you, you know, to go through and kind of define these things. So, you know, you kind of go through G. Well, you know what? That is the answer symbol. So it usually already kind of knows. Most of the time it's going to know because it probably went through the 480,000 different ways that you can stroke an answer. So it kind of knows. So it's usually going to give you that. You press number 1, enter, automatically does it. It already knows how to do it. Okay? You go to the next one, highlight it, it already knows that it's a question. So usually it's going to give you that option. But sometimes, you know, you stroke things with it. You know, and say it was this, IS. Well, it could be the question, it could be that you wrote this at the end of the answer, hit the question symbol, and it got put in there. If you've done it once, you may do it again. Maybe. Maybe you learned how to write it that way. And a lot of the students are learning to write that way, where they write the, you know, if they ask a question and they come back yes, and it's an S answer. Have y'all seen that?
The yes with the answer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's all in one stroke.
Oh, yeah.
And guys are, they're learning to write this way. If it helps you, you understand it, more power to you. I didn't. It doesn't help me, but I've got too much going on up here that it's too much for me. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't define it that way. Now sometimes it'll stack that way. I don't mean to do it, but sometimes it'll stack that way, and I have it defined for that. Okay? And that's what it's doing right here. That's where it's giving you these options right here. Of, well, what were you meaning to do? Well, it already puts it together. And I'll just show you right here. So if we pick, say that's what we wanted to do, look what it's going to do. It already knew to do that. Did y'all see what it did? It put the question mark and when. When wasn't even there. When wasn't even in that whole thing. That one go back. Great. I'm sorry? It was, anyway, we'll do it right here. We'll go to the next one. Answer. So see how it's just the answer symbol? Just the answer. Sounds rude. Okay? Come up. We'll see how it gives you the different, well, is it answer will, sounds rude, or B, sounds rude? See how it's doing that? And maybe it is. Maybe you did stroke it that way. And it needs to be will, sounds rude. You push number 3. It already knows to do it. See what it did? Yes.
Yes.
No. Good. Okay, so you can go through that little exercise, kind of do it yourself and kind of mess around with it. Here's just talking about punctuation and how you define punctuation with the brackets, period, brackets, comma, brackets, question mark, you know. And these are the different punctuation that you have. So if you forget how to do it, Forget how to do the Control E. Want to go through the lesson again? This is how you do it. That's the way that it's defined. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Yeah. We'll take a little break right here.